Welcome everyone. Welcome to Chef Patrick's Classic Kitchen. My name is Chef Patrick Alexander and I am be your host this afternoon. So what we're going to actually start today, we're going to do the chicken pot pie, aka I call it chicken pot pizzle because it's the P. Alexander style. So this is where we're going to jump off and get into this, okay? So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our vegetables on the stove. So what we want to do here, we have our mirepoix plus a little extra. So our mirepoix is actually your onions, carrots, and celeries. I threw some red peppers in there as well. And then we're going to start off with sauteing that. We're going to get those translucent, and then we're going to move into the rest of the dish. So we're going to let the pan get hot here. And now chicken pot pie is one of my favorite dish. I loved it as a kid. Those little ones that you buy at the grocery store that was frozen, I used to just try to sneak them all the time. But then when I got older, I learned how to make chicken pot pie. And when I became a chef, I learned a better way to make chicken pot pie. So this is what I'm going to do here today. So our pan is getting nice and hot, so we're going to go ahead and add a little olive oil to our pan. And so what we're going to do, we want everything to be aromatic, and like I said, we want to get these translucent so that the flavor will come through in the chicken pot pie. Chicken pot pie, it is a one pot cookery. So it's kind of a whole meal within itself. You don't have to go out and add other things, but you can add a salad, or you can add some type of bread, or well, it's gonna have bread, but you can add whatever you like to make it good, a little pasta salad, something like that. So we're gonna season our vegetables. And I know it looks like a lot, it is a lot, but I want them to cook down, and I want it to, we're gonna make a really big pan, so that's why we have so much. But we want to make sure that everything is translucent and everything is tender. We don't want it too crunchy. We want it just right. And remember, when you put it in the oven, those vegetables are still going to cook some more. So they won't be overcooked, but you just want to have that right texture. So we're going to give it a little bit more salt and pepper, because again, we're building flavors. We're building flavors. We're always building flavors. Now we're going to take about 3 garlic cloves. We're going to add those 3 garlic cloves to the mix. And we're still building flavors. We're still building flavors. We're still getting that taste, that texture, everything that you like about your food. And look how pretty that is. The prettier it is, eyesight, it's more healthier. I keep saying that, I'm just bringing it back to that. Now, the thing about this, it's very filling. It's very rich, because we're gonna add some little things to it to make it really, really good. So once we come back, we're gonna go into making the sauce. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're back on task. So what we're about to do is build this wonderful sauce for our chicken pot pie. Now, I know a lot of people think, they just go to that traditional cream of mushroom soup. Well, we're not gonna do cream of mushroom soup. We're gonna make our sauce from scratch, and you're gonna really love it. It's gonna be chicken velouté, and we're gonna bring it over a little bit into the chicken supreme sauce. So we're going to start by adding about a stick of butter into our pan, and we're going to let that kind of melt down, because what we're going to do is we're going to build a roux. And so as the butter melts, that's just, butter is more better, and we want it to melt down and get really creamy, and we can let it brown if we want to have sort of the sauce have a little brown texture to it, or it could be more of the white, because you know chicken pot pie is not really a dark, when you cut it open it's not really dark. So we're just gonna let this go down, and then we're just gonna take, you know, really, there's no really, I guess you could say it's about a cup to a stick of butter, but not necessarily, because we want to do, we want our sauce, we want this to be, our roux to be like a peanut butter consistency. So that's what we're gonna, so it's gonna be thick, it's gonna kind of be kind of loose, but it's still gonna be good. So let me show you what we're gonna do here. So we're just gonna go ahead and put that in. And there we go. So now we're just gonna let it brown, and that could be considered peanut butter consistency. So we're just gonna let it brown, and while it browns. So while we were gone on the break, we actually went ahead and finished off the chicken. Well, we put the chicken on the grill, and we sauteed it. Then we stuck it in the oven to we're gonna let it cook up to temp and get nice and juicy. It's not gonna be dried out. So that's going to be good. So we'll add that back into this dish a little later. So again, like I said, we wanted peanut butter consistency, and we want it, it's a roux, so we want it to be able to get a little color on it. But we don't have to have color on it, but we can. So now, in building these, in making this roux, we're going to add some really rich and really tasteful and aromatic ingredients, and that's gonna help this sauce be like, whew, yeah, so you're gonna love it. So first thing that we're gonna do, I think, I'm not gonna make it very thick and very brown. I'm gonna do this light one here, and I think that's ready. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add little chicken stock, and sometimes you might have to keep adding, because the one thing about chicken stock, about the whole roux process, as it cooks, it gets thicker and thicker, so you still might have to add a little bit. And then at this point, you know, sometimes if you run out of stock, because it might take a lot, you can add a little water. And I know I said don't do water, but once you've already added the chicken stock, you can add a little water to help you out. So there we go. And the thing about this is you wanna stir it. You wanna keep it stirred, and see how thick it's getting. It's getting thick. So we're gonna have to add a little bit more stock, and probably a lot more than this. So yes, and we're just gonna let that thicken up. And a spatula is good, but I'm gonna move to a wire whisk, because that's a little bit better. It'll break up all of that. So yes. And we let that cook up, thicken up a little bit more. And I think we're gonna add a little bit more stock to it, because yeah, and then if we don't, and if it's not to the liking that we like, the consistency that we like, and you know what consistency we were getting at. Remember the last time I told you we're looking for nappe? That's what we're looking for again, nappe. So, you know, this will cook down, it will thicken up, and it'll be a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful. Grab the wrong thing, we go back to the wire whisk, incorporate some air in there, and let that smooth out. Now, the next thing that we do, we start adding our aromatics and our flavor. I like to use 3 bay leaves. I like just what it does for that. And then, so traditionally when we're building these sauces in the chef world, we use a sachet or a bouquet garni, but I'm not going to use that. I'm gonna use it, but I'm gonna put it into my sauce, because I like to see the the things in my sauce. It makes it look really rich and really sophisticated. So that's what I'm going to do for this. And we're going to keep, and at the same time, we're still going to stir. We're going to keep stirring while we're adding everything to our sauce. Now, from this point, I'm going to add a little thyme. Well, not a little thyme, quite a bit of thyme. Because that's more flavor into our sauce. And also, you know, this is one of the things that we use, and we're going to do some parsley and thyme. Let's get that mixed all in. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so while this starts to simmer and get down, we're going to reduce that heat a little bit. And as this starts to cook down, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll go to the next steps with the chicken and everything. All right, be back. All right, welcome back. Now we're back on business again. So what we're about to do now, we've taken the chicken out, and now we're about to add a little bit, the last ingredient to what we call the sachet, but it's the unsachet, you know, we dissect it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little black pepper, and that's one thing that we always add to those sachets for more flavor. And you think that it would be hot, but it's not hot, it's just flavor. So, and we got it to, I think, the consistency that we want it to be at, and the only thing we haven't done is seasoned it with salt and pepper yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to taste first to see what we need and how much we need. Oh, better yet. Oh yeah, so that is good, but it has no seasoning. So we're going to add our little salt and pepper to it, more salt and pepper. It's not going to be too much pepper. You think that it is, but it's not. And we're going to let that cook in a little bit. And it has that really, really nice chicken flavor because we use the chicken stock or chicken broth. You can use either one. Now notice if you use the chicken stock, because of the bone that's in it, because you do the stocks from bone, you might have a film on top that you might have to skim off. So you want to skim that off because those are the impurities that cook up to the top. Now with the broth, not so much. It might be a little, but not as much as if it was the stock. So also we're going to check, it is nappe, and still need just a little bit more salt and pepper. Oh yeah, that's good. There we go. So now, thing about the chicken pot pie, it's a real hearty meal, it's real flavorful, it's real filling. So you get this, you can just stick with that. So now, we've got this going. So what I'm gonna do now, I told you we're gonna step it up a little bit. We're gonna add a little heavy cream. And then we're gonna mix that in to make sure that it's the proper amount, and then that color is going to change. It's going to start to look more like that chicken pot pie look, that creamy look. And we're going to add a little bit more cream. We're going to keep it stirring. Now, I told you we're going to step it up, and we are. We're gonna add some mushrooms. I like putting the mushrooms. I don't like necessarily cooking them all the way down in the chicken pot pie because I want them to be meat. I want it to look meaty and feel good in the chicken pot pie. So we're gonna add it to our sauce right now. And we're gonna let that cook in. And I know somebody might say that's a little unorthodox. Yeah, it is, because that's how I do it. This is the P. Alexander style. And we're gonna let that cook down just a little bit. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna come over here and right now, gonna cut up a little bit more chicken so that we will have enough chicken for our chicken pot pie. And you really want a good medium to large dice on your chicken so that it will be very, very hearty for you. So I'm going to take one breast, and we'll see how much we have. And then I'm going to, get out of the way. I'm going to slice into that. And see, I'm going to make those, look at that, that chicken is nice and juicy, it's tender, it's not dried out. And I'm using my tongue because it's extremely hot. So, because it just took it out of the oven. And I'm just gonna cut up all of these. And so, I like this, like I said before, I like this dish. This dish is one of my favorites. It's a childhood, it's a comfort food. And you know, unfortunately, I could sit down and eat almost the whole pan by myself, which is not good. And my doctor would have a fit. But it is what we do. All right, so now chicken's cut up. You know what we're gonna do too? We're gonna save everything. You see that chicken juice right there? We're gonna add that right into our, because that's number love. It's number love and flavor, That's what we do. So now we have our chicken all cut up. And so what we're about to do now, well, I'm gonna hold on that. What we're about to do now, we're gonna take our vegetables that we sauteed, you look at that. They look really, really wonderful. And we're gonna put those into the pan. Yeah, we're gonna get all those into the pan. All right, there we go. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the chicken. I'm gonna add all of that. I'm gonna slide this over just a little bit. Yeah. I'm gonna add all that love to this pan. And this is real simple. This is nothing that's gonna break your back or you think that it's gonna be really difficult to make and it's gonna be too hard and too complicated. It's simple. Saute your vegetables, cook your chicken, cut your chicken up, make your sauce, and then just put your sauce on. It's really, really simple. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna see what this sauce is doing. Oh, yes. So that's what we want. It's a good sauce, it's got good flavor. You can taste everything that's in it. It's got enough salt and pepper. We'll still taste it at the end once we incorporate this and make sure it all tastes good. So all we're gonna do now, we're gonna pour this lovely stuff right on top. And see, no creamy mushroom soup, real mushrooms, and we made it. And this is gonna taste better than creamy mushroom soup. Way better. We're gonna get all that love out of there. Yeah. And when we come back, we're gonna mix it up and we're going to do our dough. And we'll see you when we get back. All right, we're back on task. We're about to finish up this chicken pie, this wonderful chicken pot pie. So over the break, we kind of stirred everything around and we got to look in and see all the beautiful color, all the beautiful things. Now, we're not gonna do that, but you can also add your green peas to it. I'm not gonna do green peas today. We're gonna do it just this because we got some little extra stuff in there with the peppers and whatnot. So, now what we're about to do, we're gonna take our dough. Now what we did is we made a basic pie dough. It's from scratch here. You don't have to do this. You could go to the store, you can get the I would suggest only get the Pillsbury one because the Pillsbury one is the right texture. And a lot of other doughs that I've used, tried to get store-bought, they break and crumble really quickly. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna roll out our dough. So what we want to do, we've already mixed it up and let it sit. It's kind of got a little gluten built into it. So I'm just going to do a little bit more than half. There we go. And so what we did, we floured the board so that the dough doesn't stick. And now what we're going to do is just roll it out. So my pan that I'm going to use, I'm going to put everything all in this pan. So yes, we're going to use that large pan, and we're going to get everything together. So we're going to roll this out. And so you see the circumference of this pan, we want this dough to cover this whole pan. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start rolling it. And if your dough is sticking to your roller, that it's asking for more flour. And you can just give it a little bit more flour, and it's sticking. But we have enough flour on our board that we can turn it over and get some of that good flour from there. Yeah, there we go. And we put a little flour on there so that it won't stick, and we keep rolling it out until we think we get it to the point where it will fit right over our bowl. Yeah, so we roll it, and we're going to keep rolling out until it fits the pan. So when it looks like you are running out of flour, or it's getting too dry and it's starting to stick and it's not moving on the cutting board, you want to incorporate more flour. And we're going to do it on both sides. Now, a secret, I don't know if everybody knows this. There's two ways to do this. You can do it, you can roll it on your rolling pin. And roll it on your rolling pin because it was sticking, and so we don't want it to stick. So we're going to put a generous amount. Now sometimes I do it on, I use parchment paper. Sometimes I use a Silpat, and that's a baking mat that's for baking, and I'll roll it out on that. And then I'll still use, sometimes if I'm transferring the dough, I might roll it up like I just did, put parchment paper down, roll it back on the parchment paper, then slide it over. But we don't have to do that. So I think that's going to be pretty good right there. So now what we're going to do, all this goodness right here, we're going to just incorporate that right into the bowl. Look at that, look at that. Ah, ha, ha. That's awesome, isn't it? It smells so good. And I bet you it's going to taste even better. Now, I'm weird. I leave the bay leaves in. Because I still want that flavor to cook in through the bay leaf, So I leave the bay leaves in and let it do its thing. So now, let's show you what I was talking about. All right, and there we go. Rolled right on to the pan. Now, what we're gonna do here, take a little dough. We don't want it, if it's sticking to your hand, just take your little flour and go around. So we're just gonna make some crinkles around. And you know, like I said, this is one of my favorite dishes, chicken pot pie. I used to just try to go into the kitchen and steal every last one and would get in trouble. My grandmother again. She said she'll beat me to death, but you know, I did what I had to do. You know, my stomach is more important than the whooping. You know what I'm saying? So now, what we do, we have this in, and we crinkle it up a little bit, give it that little baked pie look. Now this goodness. Now here's the one thing. Now, you know, we're going to add one more thing to this. We're gonna take our pre-beaten egg, and we're just gonna take this egg and we're gonna go all over this dough. Because what we wanna do, we want it to cook evenly and we want it to brown. We wanna have a nice color on it. So that's what we do with the egg. And we just brush it on lightly and try to fill up in as much area as you can with what you have. And if this is a bigger one than I thought, so what we'll probably have to do with this one, we'll probably have to add a little bit more egg, but yes. Or maybe we won't. We'll make it work. We'll make it do what it do, baby. Make it do what it do. Ooh, look at that. There we go, there we go, there we go. So now, we got egg all over it. We egged this baby. So now what we're about to do, we're about to put it in the oven. So when we come back, we'll show you what it looks like once it's done. All right, we're back. So chicken pot pie is out of the oven. It's looking good, it's bubbling through, it's coming, it's just doing the goodness that it does. This is my chicken pot pizzle. This is what we do. This is what I do. So here it is, the chicken pot pie. Thank you for joining in. I'm Chef Patrick Alexander. This is Cooking with Chef Patrick Alexander Classic Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.